Hello, we are students from the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. Pollution is the introduction of harmful materials into the environment. It can cause negative effects on the environment and wildlife and often impacts human health. What kind of pollution can you think of? There are several kinds of pollution. Water pollution occurs when harmful substances such as chemicals or microorganisms contaminate a river or ocean. Light pollution is the presence of artificial light in the night environment that harms health and disrupts the ecosystem. Noise pollution is any unwanted sounds that affects health. Sounds that reach 85 decibels or higher can harm a person's ears. Air pollution is the presence of harmful substances in the atmosphere in forms of solid particles or gases. Land pollution is the deposition of solid or liquid waste materials on land that can contaminate the soil or groundwater. In this video, air pollution and land pollution will be mainly discussed.
Let me introduce the current situation of air pollution. First, we need to know the major types of air pollutants in Hong Kong: sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitric oxides, particulate matters, and volatile organic compounds. Hong Kong is facing two greater challenges. One is the street-level pollution contributed by the diesel vehicles and buses. The other is the regional smoke produced from the motor vehicles industries and power plants. The wind from the Pearl River Delta also brings the smoke. The level of air pollutants is measured by the Air Quality Index. Just like this picture, it shows the real-time AQI, and the red color suggests that PM2.5 is the standard. Next, let us think about why the air pollution is severe in Hong Kong. The air pollutants come from transportation. Vehicles, buses, marines, and aircrafts produce carbon dioxide. Fumes from fertilizers and animal waste combine with combustion emission, making aerosol. The delicious meal cooked by the open fires and secondhand smoking cause indoor air pollution. Industry use fossil fuels and paintings and sulfur producing the volatile organic compounds. The waste in landfills are inappropriately processed, producing methane and carbon dioxide. We all know that methane and carbon dioxide are greenhouse gases, resulting in global warming. Dense population in Hong Kong is also the main reason for severe air pollution. As Hong Kong is an urban city, it uses large amounts of fossil fuels for manufacturing, transportation, and domestic purposes. Because of the street canal effect, the narrow street and top buildings trap the pollutants, so the pollutants cannot be diluted or be moved to other areas.
Learning the reason why Hong Kong is facing air pollution issues, we could move on to the adverse effect of air pollution. Here we focus on the negative impact brought to humans. First, the air pollutants irritate our eyes, nose, throat, and make them more sensitive and prone to allergies. Second, it can cause chronic disease such as COPD, asthma, and cardiovascular disease. Lastly, the air pollutants are carcinogenic. It can stimulate the growth of melanin tissue and increase the risk of developing cancer. These are three of the major air pollutants that bring harmful effects to our health. Carbon monoxide is mainly emitted by vehicle. It causes shortness of breath, dizziness, headache, fatigue, and confusion. In Hong Kong, power stations are the main source of sulfur dioxide. Inspiration of sulfur dioxide causes coughing, increased mucus secretion, inflammation of bronchus, which may lead to bronchospasm. PM2.5 is mainly emitted by vehicle too. Despite producing the above respiratory symptoms, it can also attack the brain and cause cognitive impairment. Here we move into the discussion of solutions. To tackle roadside pollution, the main target is to reduce carbon footprint. The first action to be taken is to increase the use of ratio to low zero-emission vehicles. Electricity is a good alternative to gasoline and help to reduce incomplete combustion and emission of air pollutants. Most importantly, we should encourage the use of public transport to replace private cars in order to cut down the number of vehicles on the road.
Apart from the carbon reduction, the government can encourage citizens and industry to apply air pollution control technologies, converting the air pollutants to harmless production or reducing the pollutants from the origin. For example, the catalytic converter used in cars can convert carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide.
Next, we will talk about the land pollution problem in Hong Kong. We believe that you must have heard of this topic before, but have you ever thought of it thoroughly? Land pollution is very common in country parks. People choose to throw away masks during hiking, especially in the current COVID-19 situation. Finding masks and plastics is a common experience in the countryside. Furthermore, it seems to be a habit for Hong Kong people to use non-reusable utensils daily. For example, using polystyrene boxes for takeaway and disposable utensils for dining. Do you know the reasons behind these situations in Hong Kong? People throw their rubbish on the ground of country parks for convenience because it is hard to find a recycling or rubbish bin. Compared with bring your own bag action, the promotion of using our own lunch boxes and utensils like chopsticks and spoons is much weaker. Also, there is no regulation or penalty for using disposable boxes and utensils. Therefore, it is difficult for people to develop a habit of bringing their own utensils when having meals outside their home.
The current situation of land pollution adversely affects our living quality. Imagine finding several used moss along a green hillside. You may feel discomfort too. When you put this in other hikers' shoes, you will understand that this is unfriendly and unfair. In addition, a non-biodegradable plastic bag requires at least 450 years to degrade, much longer than average human life. Most importantly, landfills are not reusable in a short period of time, meaning we actually cannot refill landfills. In this case, more and more landfill sites are required in the future, which adversely affects the environment for our next generation as well. Land pollution is truly harmful to the environment irreversibly. However, as students, we can help to improve the situation by applying 4 Rs daily, which is an easy approach. The 4 Rs represents reduce, reuse, replace, and recycle. To carry out recycling, we must first clean, dry, and empty the targeted material before putting them into corresponding bins, shown in the pictures below. So from now on, please remember that plastic, cans, paper, and glassware are recyclable. Take action now. A way to practice replace, one of the 4 Rs, is to use alternative utensils. You can bring your stylish reusable straws made of silicone or metal as well as lunch boxes out for meals to replace plastic straws and polystyrene boxes. You can also drink without the use of straw. This is much more environmentally friendly and convenient. Any more solutions you can come up with?
In conclusion, air and land pollution will cause serious and irreversible effects. Severe air pollution can damage our health, causing disease to our respiratory system and cardiovascular system, and increasing the risk of cancer. While land pollution will decrease our quality of life as the waste is causing damage to the scenery in Hong Kong. Not to mention, the landfills are filling up, which means potential sites for new landfills will be required. Does it mean there's nothing we can do? The answer is definitely no. Even as students, there are still things we can do in our daily lives to help solve the environmental problems in Hong Kong. To alleviate air pollution, besides using public transport more, simple actions like use of fans instead of air conditioner, turning off lights when not in use can also be done. We can also help reduce land pollution by small changes in our daily habits, such as bringing our own bags instead of using plastic bags, saying no to plastic straws in restaurants, and avoiding the use of disposable utensils. Last but not least, we can help recycling. 4 Rs is not just an idea. We can take it into action by separating different materials at home and putting them in the corresponding bins. Hong Kong is our home, and it relies on all of us to protect it. I believe with our joint effort, it can continue to be a beautiful city. This is the end of our sharing. Thank you for listening.